Welcome back. Let us continue, shall we? Our grandfather sacrificed everything to protect the realm from Bahamut. We must be prepared to do the same. The Azure Dragoons of history were the mortal enemies of the dragons, yet now they would be hard-pressed to find a soul who understood them better. It was the Assyrians who taught Tiamat the secrets of summoning, even as they supplied the Allegans with the means to capture primals. So much suffering, all of it by design. Tiamat awaits this way. So this is one of the 7 great worms. Even thus confined, her presence is overwhelming. Resigned to her fate though she may be, I cannot help but feel that we may be able to help Tiamat. That she only let us. To think that man is responsible for all this and so much else that dragonkind has suffered.
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
Much like those held here in Asisla. If dragons who worship Bahamut are required to summon him, that must mean...
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
Snosk anta in Dramon.
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
Santalan infan antosk. Kous lent an. Ale o esk an in. Ale kum ak in.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
Snoska Dramon kin. Nestra in. Iles I. Nesh an. Ang ala. Unmik. Nalstra ul an. Antal an. Smon. Tahi an.
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
Usk she's in.
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
Sahaan, Setsom, Kin Bahamut, and Ansumon, Na an inles, Snaloles dish an, Na ala an ul an sin an stan in.
It won't make up for what she suffered at the hands of man, but if there's a chance we can free her, truly free her, we owe it to her to try. I confess, my heart was in my throat when Estienne thought to berate her, but it appears to have had the desired effect. It would seem she still has some pride after all. Let's see if she's as good as her word. While proxies have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. Do you suppose we can find that information here? Well, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Elegants kept detailed records of all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you, then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alphino and Nakara here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Istidian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star, though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first steps toward a brighter future, and now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you are not as young as you look. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea, and be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water. I think not. I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah, yes, we are familiar with it. The Ethereal Chemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this, a spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happen to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd to explain. Rembrose, Uranje, and I are researching the use of spirit vessels in the transference not only of memories but the traits of certain bloodlines, and so I keep one at the ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes have granted access to restricted functions. Having identified me as being of royal blood and armed with the spirit vessel, I pose that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of the rest of me. It seemed worth a try at least. Agreed. We will take good care of it. To the flagship, then. It's possible that the restraints may have mitigated the effects of her tempering, but Tiamat has been in thrall to Bahamut for thousands of years. To have clung on to her reason, though, it all says a lot for her strength of will, more than a lot. Alice and I shall remain here and attend to necessary preparations. In the event that the spirit vessel fails to work as expected, you know where to find me. Good luck. I would rather leave this elegant contraptions to you and Afno. Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a certain likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. I realize I've seen this before. I said this before, and only more than one occasion, but I never cease to be amazed by elegant technology, amazed and disturbed. Oh, hello there, Estidian. These nodes, or whatever it is you call them, why do they courier so? Well, they know that you are a badass motherfucker. Beep, bloop, warning, Central Dragon Restraint Maintenance due in 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Daylink with Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause, intruder interference. Advised deployment of automated combat units. Proceed. Alright. Infernal things, one of them sent a swarm of mechanical vile king to plague me. I must have angered it. I am afraid Estine and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? I did. A note which smells like burned hair. Yes, a chirring, which spontaneously warned about neglecting the dragon's restraint. I found a way to activate mechanical sentries if that's any help. Spontaneously, you say. Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of a spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the node of which Graha spoke. And it was chirruping, you say? Very well. Let us take a closer look. How did the Elegans tell these God's forsaken things apart? As I suspected, the note was not acknowledged my authority to issue it instructions. Do you wish to operate the Draken restraint mechanisms? You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the Dragon restraint mechanism may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family, or those with a spirit vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. Akira Blackrose, Alfna Levelier, or Estian Wormblood. Welcome, Akira Blackrose. You may operate the Draken restraint mechanism when ready. Unable to disengage restraint of the specimen Tiamat. A system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it is asking of us? I could hazard a guess. To smash it to pieces? Now that I do understand, you can go first. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obedience of my own software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So, can this thing really release the restraints or not? And it can, but only once it receives the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float their spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step on the system update process. How gratifying, but I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it. Sid and his colleagues always make operating these elegant devices seem so easy. I don't know what possessed the elegance to surround themselves with these chattering ores, but the fact that they remain while their creators do not speak volumes. Guiding user to terminal this way, please. Don't look at me. This is a task for you and Alpha now. The terminal appears to be similar to the one we've encountered when we first set foot here. Let us hope it will be equally helpful. Access granted to user Akira Blackrose and her adolescent companion. Master Blackrose's other companion is deemed a potential risk to safe operation and has been denied access privileges until further notice. Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently employing software version 56135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? Why software version 42 02, of course. Bleep bloop. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimate time required for update 5 years, 1 day. This is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate Tiamat's restraints instead? The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned. However, the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. I can't imagine it will have changed all that much. As long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made any progress. Shoot. Give me a moment. I shall I would say so, yes, it does. However, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you, Viva Link Pearl, once I am ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use of it. Rest assured, I will be certain to return it to Grahatia once this is over. Just a little more work, and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know. When Tiamat and her king fought against the Allegan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Asians, and it was the same in Ishgard, where they struck the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Asians touched turned to ash, and thus have you made it your mission to fight them. But there have been been times when you tried to reach out to them instead to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fentanyl? Will you try and reach out to him too? Enemy or no, I want to understand him. I will try, yes. And it that fails, I'll remember him. My God. Certainly, after I've wiped the smile off his face, I will try, yes. And if it fails, I'll remember him. I see little point in reasoning with that Welch, or remembering him for that matter. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus. Far from it. That has been ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship only to wish that you have dealt the killing blow. So save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Afno has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. Yes, I will remember him. I cannot deny the logic in Estine's argument. Given all that is at stake, even the slightest lapse in judgment could be the undoing of us all. Warning, releasing dragon restraints may result in specimen loss, damage to facilities, and incineration of staff. Da 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 ba da ba 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 ba. Ba, ba. So the spirit vessel proved useful after all. Excellent. If this Fandanian truly is without reason or creed, he is no better than a rabid dog. Treat with him if you must, but be ready to do what is necessary. Isian told me all is well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Afno's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Well, that is all. That all sounds rather frustrating, but you got there in the end. While you were off talking to the nose, Grahan and I learned as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba. Our readings confirmed that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. The difficulties lie in the sheer quality of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning I'll need all the ether I can get. There, thank you in advance. Although this endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic. There we go. Namely, that Tiamat shows no signs of fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of detempering than that suffered by the kobolds. Tiamat saw Bahamut as a equal rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to the proof. Tell Afno to disengage the restraints ethereal dampers. I'm counting on you, Angelo. Ah, such warmth, the frost that shrouded my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Allegan. Wherefore do such baleful memories return me now? Could it be that the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Akira, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Tell me, tell me of Bahamut and the Asians. Tell me of your war with men and of Allegan. Wicked, bloodthirsty creatures, not content with their own lands, they brought fire and death to Mirasidia, our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took Ring in search of a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Miracidia by the children of men, though many years were to pass before they crossed the seas. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, keen to the trees, surrounded by nature's bounty. Bahamut and I had found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of Shalian scholar Rurushia. She posits that man first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the second astral era. Correctly, it would appear if only she were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. When first the children of men arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held domination. Uh, uh, Dominion. My brain. Such was their fear of dragonkind, and as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. Yet as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren. Shit. Fuck. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem, and soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife, until one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede in their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony, too, were fated to end. For the men of Allegan slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Ascian. The rest thou knowest only too well. But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you are free, we'll rid the place of the Ascians together, and you and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watch from above. If the treatment fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear, when this is over. Keep going, Alice. The magic is working. Slowly but surely, the magic is working, aided no doubt by the memories you bade her share. The girl is stubborn as her brother. By now, her ether must be all but spent, yet she will not give up. Oh, well, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. No patience could have prepared me for treating a great worm. But we're close. I can feel it. And while I've only got a few more drops of ether left to give, with yours and Graha's, this will work. Then I believe I speak for both of us when I say that you may take much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. All right, here I go.
No! I'm almost there! This is it, Angelo!
Es ließ an. Mich es drei.
Did it work?
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed.
Task in Santal Ankin in Way.
Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
Ankin. Slosk an all fall kail an. Slosk seth som in an. After 10. Mon One Lis an. Do ood an.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
She's in an and me.
Alphino's ready. It's time. Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
Bahamut an Ul Jas, Ul Asa, Fesk an.
By the gods!
Urianje, your timing could not be better. Understood, we're on our way. It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan. He flies for the largest Amalja settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
Ba, 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 ba. I'll be fine. Plenty of to recover on the airship. Well, I'm sure you're desperate to join Astinian and Tiamat in battle. It would be wiser to gather the full strength of the Scions first. The foe we face demands no less. All right. I have already sent word to the others. We are to rendezvous in Uda at the Hall of Flames. Let us collect Alphino and be on our way. If you're worried about me, don't be. I got some rest during the flight, and now I feel ready for anything. As I am sure you recall, Arevald and Fordola were bound for Paglaran. I pray they have not come to any harm. Fucking stop jinxing, Jesus Christ. First the spat of abductions, and now the attack on the Amalja homeland. Where do the Telephoroi aim to achieve with all of this? Of the foe we face, we know but little, though time be of the essence. We must not stint in our preparations, lest our haste to fly to the aid of the Amalja cost us our best chance of victory. By happy coincidence, Kryle and I were in the process of concluding our inquiries when news reached us of Lunar Bahamut's return. There is much to discuss, but it will have to wait. Now, I know some of you could do with the rest, but I am sorry to say the Telephori have other plans. Pagalathan is already under siege. Happily, the Immortal Flames arrived just in time to join the defensive effort, with Marshal Terrapin at their head. Well, now, given the failure of the peace negotiations, I was uncertain how the Sultanate would respond. 'Tis good to hear that Ul'dah has not abandoned the Amalja. Abandoned them? Did we not profess to be their friends? Your Grace. Marshal Terrapin had made provisions for such a exigency and was ready to depart at a moment's notice. All that was required was the agreement of the syndicate, each of whom voted in favor of the intervention. Nor is Ul'dah alone in its resolve. The other alliance nations have likewise dispatched their troops to Pagalathan. Yet, even with our combined strength, we shall be sorely tested, for we face not only the might of the Imperial Legion, but Lunar Bahamut and his draconic horde besides. Tiamat's children. Fight as we may, victory is by no means assured, but not all of the omens are grim. Our forces report that despite their proximity to the Lunar Bahamut, none of the Amalja has shown any signs of tempering. Strange, what primal would turn down a chance to claim new thralls? Unless it is incapable of doing so. Primals are not wont to serve a master, Ascians or otherwise. It may well be that Lunar Bahamut differs in such fundamental manner from those we have previously encountered. If that were true, anyone could fight him, and Akira and the others like her wouldn't have to shoulder the burden alone. But that is as it may. Lunar Bahamut remains an incalculably powerful foe, whom our soldiers will struggle to best through mere force of arms. With the aid of the science, however, I believe they will fare rather better, assuming that is you are ready to take the field. An airship awaits to bear you to the front. Pray set forth as soon as you are able. I, meanwhile, shall continue to coordinate our forces till next we meet. May the 12th bless and keep you. It was kind of her to speak with us personally. You may be certain she has no shortage of other responsibilities. Well, I, for one, am inclined to do as her grace requests, lest we forget Arvald and Fordola are in Paglathan on reconnaissance. The sooner we save the day, the better their chances. Indeed, to the airship then. All right, let's do this, shall we? Lest thou wonder, I have attended to Thancred's ammunition and completed mine own preparations. I trust thou canst say the same of thine. Try as I might, I cannot fathom why the Talafori would move to attack the Amalja. If Daniel's objective is death and destruction, one of the city-states would surely have been a better target. No, they have some other agenda, one encompassing the recent abductions, perhaps. Do you think Isina and Tiamat have already reached Pagathian? But I should know better than to speculate of the whereabouts of the Azure Dragoon. Forgive me. It is not impossible that the Talafori redirected some of the troops stationed at the tower to the front line. If so, this may all turn out to have been to Orivald and for Dola's benefit. Given what we know, some or perhaps even all of the Imperial soldiers may have been tempered. If we can subdue them, we should be able to do something about that. But they would still see us as enemies even then. That said, they wouldn't be deaf to reason, which is better than nothing. So the Talafori have constructed buildings capable of tempering and primos which are not. What secrets are they hiding? Greetings, we've been expecting you. But say the word and we shall depart for Paglathan at once. Alright. Oops, I didn't want to speak to you. Let's see. I know not what designs the Talafori have on Paglathan, but I do know they must be stopped for the good of the Amaljas and us all. Whether he's here or not, we can be sure Fandaniel is behind this attack, and that makes me doubly determined to see that it fails. Fuck! No, I didn't want that. I don't want that. Sorry. By dealing with Lunar Bahamut and his horde, so too will we render aid to Arivald and Fordola. Come, let us go. The grasslands of Paglathan will make for a open battlefield. Many through our enemy are. We will not have to fight against the terrain, at least. Like most who has spent in Uda, I haven't always seen eye to eye with the Amalja, but today I will fight side by side with them in common cause, and hope that none of them remember me. At the cost of his own life did Master Louis Soir strike down the primal Bahamut. Whatever the true nature of this new incarnation, it cannot be suffered to threaten this star. Alright, we shall proceed in doing this dungeon. Till next time, fare thee well.